Hello everyone, it's Vicky here today designing for Pink Fresh Studio, and I am using the brand new Very Merry Christmas collection which has been designed by Paige Evans. And there's a quick sneak peek at it and the papers in particular, which are beautiful. Pink Fresh quality as always, and Paige's lovely designs. So I've chosen this paper. I have an idea in my head to create sort of an abstract gift on my page. So I'm just cutting out all of the gifts on here, and I do all of the square gifts, not the gift bags, but all of the square gifts ultimately. And that's most of them there, not all of them, because I do cut some more later. But my idea, as I said, is to create an abstract gift. So what I want to do is create a big gift of gifts. So a big square, which I'm going to use as a gift, and you'll see what I mean by that as I go through it. So at the moment, what I'm doing is I'm just laying out all of these into a square onto my page, and yeah. So at the moment, I'm not using a ruler or ruling it out, but I do that in a second. At the moment, I'm just interested in getting a square onto my page and making sure it fits. And you can see down the right, that's not straight. I sort of try and adjust that in a moment, and it's still not right. But the way I stick them down, it works in the end. But you'll see. So it was the bottom right corner was poking out. Now it's sort of poking in, and you'll see what happens when I get to that and start to fix it. But I'm going to use this double-sided tape and stick these gifts down. And there we go, sticking them all around. In a second, I'll skip through that so that you don't need to see the whole process. But there you go. That purple one that I'm just sticking now, that's going to change. It's going to be a different one there ultimately, because I figure out that I haven't got a proper square. So you'll see how I do that in a second. But there we go. I used my T-square ruler to get everything fully straight on there in the end. And then I stick the final one down. I had to cut one of them off at the edge slightly to make it fit, but I think that works really well. And then the next thing I'm going to do is fill in the center of it. Now, I'm not too concerned that every single space is filled, and I think probably it would have been fairly impossible to do that anyway. But my main goal is to fill as much of that space as I can with these other gifts that I've cut out. And again, I think we'll skip through that in just a second, so that until they're all stuck down. And now what I want to do is take the rest of them and use them on top and use some foam to make them 3D. And I want to arrange them all on the top, but I don't want it to be remain as a perfect square. So you'll see what I mean by that in just a second. I've got this glue. I've just received this glue, which is Pink Fresh glue. And so I thought, I'm going to try this out. And I have to tell you, I love it. It's really lovely. It sort of, you put it on the page, you've got some time to move around a bit, but then it's gripping pretty well. And I use it on here on this foam, and I also use it in a bit on some ribbon, and you'll see it just sticks brilliantly. I'm really impressed. So yeah, hopefully it's in the store and I haven't preempted something here, but I will link it up below as long as assuming that it is, and if it isn't, I'm sure it will be very soon. But here we go. I'm sticking all of these down. You can see I have some hanging over the edge. I have some over in the middle on top, and it just looks sort of a little haphazard, I guess, but I like it. So I've pulled out two different ribbons because I know I want to put a bow on top, and I'm trying to figure out which one to use. This pink and red went really well, but I didn't think it was quite right for what I was going for. And what I am going for is a big bow over the top of this gift, just to look very sort of a messy twisted. You'll see what I mean, a messy twisted bow. Anyway, I love how the effect that this gave, and I was really pleased with how it turned out. So I'm just going to sort of stick it there and then have the pieces, the the floaty pieces coming down. I just realized I'd forgotten to stick down a couple of those. There we go. Um, and I'm going to stick it to the page sort of just like this, almost where it falls, really. I like the look that it gives, sort of, a scruffy, untidy, but fun wrapping look. So I need to stick that, I realize, before I lose the shape, which I really like. The twisty shape and the fact that it sort of curls around. I just think it looks really pretty. So, and as I said before, this glue was great. I just had to hold it for a few seconds and it gripped and I had no problem with it. Um, yeah, and it's stuck solid now. When I went to photograph this layout this morning, it was stuck absolutely solid. I was really pleased with how it turned out. Just sticking the two sides of the bow down as well to keep it firm and in place. And I think this layout is sort of pretty simple because we've got the one piece of paper, we have a bow, we have the photos, and then I just had a couple of small embellishments. So these little die cuts here, I just had some mistletoe and holly from there. Um, Not too much because I think that the gifts on there are taking a lot of the attention. There's lots to see there, and I don't want to overdo it too much. So, but look at some of those little die cuts. They're just beautiful. I loved looking through them, and I can't wait to use this again. I really love Christmas scrapping. And just a moment to talk about my photos. They are Snapchat photos of me and my dog, and I just love doing that. Buster is like my little child, so he has to endure being in photos all the time, and yeah, I really, he just, he tolerates my crazy ideas, so much more so than my husband. Okay, so this is my title, piece of chipboard, that says festive fun. And of course, that's what's happening in these photos. So I'm going to put the photos there where you see them after sticking down these die cuts with my fantastic new glue. I'm going to need more. Um, and I'm just putting these pieces of holly down with some foam dots because I want them to pop off as well. I always have lots of dimension on my pages. I like to have lots of foam on there to create layers. And so I have lots of foam dots handy at all times. And I'm also putting foam onto the back of my photos as well. So we kind of have the gifts that are up on foam and then the photos on top, which gives even more dimension. And yeah, I love how that looks. And I particularly love that that title is all multicolored, all the colors of the collection. It goes really well. So I'm happy with the positioning of that, and I'm going to just glue that down. I always put tape and glue on the back of my photos. The tape sort of grabs immediately, and the glue helps it to stick long term because I think we've all had experience of sticky back tape that comes because it's acid free. After a while, I find sometimes it comes unstuck, but maybe that's just the tape I use. But I try to do both things to make sure it's fine. I put some foam dots on the bottom of this title because the top part is going over the photo, which is already 3D'd. So I just want to make sure that that stays down. And then just the final touch is I've got this sticker sheet and it's got some just little tabs on it that say different things. And I'm just going to use some of those just to finish up some little words. So I've got ho 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 there by Festive Fun, and then just a couple of more which I'm going to stick on in different places. I think I do 4 altogether, maybe 5. We'll see. Um, there we go. On there. Yeah, I think it's 5 that I do. And I just love these little words. They're nice to use around the layout just to add that extra bit of interest and people find, look around to find things on the page. I think it's fun. And that's it. That there is the final layout. I really, really hope that this has given you some inspiration. Using ribbons on your layout as well. I haven't used ribbons properly for ages, so I was quite excited to do that. There are some close-ups coming. Please do let me know if you have any questions. I hope it's given you some inspiration. And yeah, I'll link everything I used below. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. This has been Vicki for Pink Fresh. Bye bye.